Lyntrell, and yeah, we love it here. We've been coming here for several months now. A little bit about me, just like I said, I'm from Louisiana, and I moved here after Hurricane Katrina. So I attended Gustavus Adolphus College here, and after Gustavus, I'm just aspiring to be a Minnesota Intimate Caterer now, so I'm working on that. So yeah, I'll just start with my background and how I was introduced to faith or to Christ. In Louisiana, I don't know, church can get a little interesting there, but growing up, it's like you're almost forced to go. And I remember when I was 9 years old, and I don't know what led me to the altar, but I was 9, and my mom and my sisters were in church, and I decided to get up and walk to the front when they called for prayer. And I said, okay, I'm just going to get up and I'm going to go too. So I went, and I remember him asking if I wanted to accept Christ as the head of my life, and I kind of looked back like, I don't know what any of this stuff means. I looked at my mom, and she kind of reassured me that, like, yeah, do it. And I went on ahead and I accepted Christ as the head of my life. And a couple weeks later, I was supposed to get baptized, and it was, I don't know, it was one of those things where, okay, I'm doing it, but I don't know why I'm doing it, and I don't know what it's for. I don't know the meaning behind any of this. No one was explaining anything to me, but I just figured it was a good idea. All the adults were cheering me on, like, you're doing a great thing. And I just went for it. I was baptized, and everything was great for about 3 years. And my mom, she was studying the Bible and everything else, and I'd go in there and I'd sit there with her and go over scriptures, and it was just, I don't know, I was into it. I was on fire for God. And I remember after that, it just wasn't it wasn't fun anymore. Like when I think I was about 13, and it just wasn't a cool thing to do, to go to church and things like that. I didn't like it. And so my mom, she would wake me up every Sunday and, get us ready for church and say, you're going to church whether you like it or not. And I had no other choice. I had to go to church. And I remember being brave one Sunday. I got up and I said, and this was, like with my mom, I was really brave to do this. I said, you know what? I don't want to go to church. And she didn't say anything, and I was surprised. I thought it was maybe a slap, but she didn't do anything. I said, I don't want to go to church. And she just kind of looked at me, and so I elaborated, and I said, you know what? I said, look at my pastor. I started using family as an example, and I said, look at my uncle who's a pastor, and look at his kids. I started being very judgmental. I said, they're in the church every single time the doors of the church open. And I said, they're on drugs, they're doing this, they're having kids out of wedlock, just being extremely judgmental. And after that, she just kind of looked at me and she didn't say anything. And I said, can you please stop making me go to church? I don't want to do it. I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm falling asleep in church. It just wasn't for me. And I was just shocked that she just kind of went with it. She didn't say anything. She just walked away, and she left and she went to church. And so the next Sunday rolled around, and she didn't wake me up for church. And I was actually a little sad, like, although that's what I wanted, but it just made it seem like she didn't care. And I said, I'm like, she didn't wake me up for church. This is weird. So the next Sunday rolled around, no church. So I just got into football with my dad and started watching football for the next couple of years. Every Sunday, I just took advantage of that. And then things took a turn for me. I remember waking up. It was April 29th, 2005, and I woke up to a phone call. It was a Friday, and so Friday, school day for me, sophomore year of high school. And I woke up to a phone call from one of my teammates, and she said, "Hey, Lyntrell, are you okay?" And I'm like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not quite up for school yet, but this is weird. Like, why is she calling me? Something must be, something's going on. You never get a phone call from someone saying, is everything okay? And everything's okay. So I'm like, no, I'm sleeping. Why? What's up? And she said, have you heard? And my heart just dropped. And anytime something starts with have you heard, nothing good comes out of it. So I just kind of started, freaking out, and she said, have you heard about Dee Dee? And I said, no, like, what's going on? And I just immediately started crying because I knew something bad had happened. And she said, well, last night he was shot. So this was a good friend of mine who, it was his freshman year of college, and he was attending an end of the year school dance. And, it's freshman year, they're, having a great time, and, he's with his football teammates, and I guess some random neighborhood people came to the school and just started randomly shooting. Thought it would be a good idea to start randomly shooting at kids who were in college, and it was just devastating. And I guess they all fled the scene and was running, and he was running to his car, and right before he made it to his car, he was shot. And out of everyone that was there running, he was the only one that was shot and killed. And that was devastating for me. And I'm thinking, I'm 15 years old. This is a week before my 16th birthday, and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, how could this happen? When you're young, you think, well, only older people die. Like, it's not normal for someone so close in age to pass away. And so after that, I didn't become rebellious. I was just crying for something. There was no God in my life. There was no nothing. But I was looking for something and searching for something. And the next week was his funeral, and I actually rededicated my life to God at his funeral. I remember the pastor saying, this thing is bigger than Dee Dee. This thing it's not about him. You don't know the time, you don't know the hour or the day when something's going to happen. So, kind of get your life together now. And so it was one of those things where I looked at it as like it wasn't done in vain. And so ever since that, everything has been like a positive outlook for me, even when, things aren't going right. And so at his funeral, I rededicated my life to Christ, and it was a good experience. And things haven't always been the greatest for me. There's highs and lows, but I've just been, trucking along and keeping God first. And I'm thankful to have so many amazing friends and family in my life to kind of keep me guided and keep me focused. And Donzel's an excellent person, and we're always pushing each other to be great. And I'll leave you guys with this. It was interesting because on April 29th, when that happened, and I got that phone call, that's been stuck with me for a very long time. And just, to wake up and that day, just remembering that day as being such a terrible day. And now I have that day to remember life. And on April 29th, Grayson, Latoya Burrell's little boy, was actually born. And he was born prematurely, but perfectly fine. And now I see that day as life. It just adds so much joy into my life, and I'm just grateful for that. It was just interesting how that worked out, and God never makes any mistakes, and that was just great. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, and thank you guys for your time.